Welcome to Digital Asset News. Take a top stories in cryptocurrency and digital assets and break them out of bite-sized pieces. Today we got some interesting things as a follow-up, as Elon Musk was the host of Saturday Night Live, as the Doge father went and talked about Dogecoin a couple of times throughout the night, and that led me to sell every piece of Dogecoin that I possibly owned. And we're going to take a look at where that money is potentially flowing into and the reckoning of Dogecoin, but not so fast, because there could be a vast resurgence just on what Elon Musk said this morning, Sunday, May 9th, 2021. And we'll take a look at what else is going on as far as the Cardano project. This is just a follow-up to Cardano talking about moving into Ethiopia, having a contract with the government and what they are doing. And this really goes deep into what was being said as far as the digital ID and telecommunications, because there's a project that I want to talk to you about, which is going to open up into a $1 trillion industry, and the token is going to be natively based on Cardano. So we'll get into all those things in a bit, but first let's take a look at what's going on into the market. So today it is Mother's Day here in America. So congratulations everybody who's made it here, and thanks to all the mothers out there. Really appreciate it for keeping everybody in line. And this is what we have as far as the market goes. So we're at 2.4 trillion. We're almost at 2.5. I think we actually touched that, but came down a little bit. And then, of course, on Twitter, because this is Trade the Chain, all sentiment analysis, of course, Dogecoin, the tweets are up massively after what happened yesterday with Elon Musk coming in and hosting that SNL, which I got to tell you has probably been a massive ratings, Nielsen ratings for SNL, probably bigger than it's probably been in quite some time, but who knows. And these are the things that are going on in crypto. Let's take a look at the prices themselves. Now, I will tell you this. Didn't really do much for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's at 57. Let me blow this up so you can see what I'm talking about. Bitcoin's at 57,000, Ethereum at 38. But, Ethereum did touch 4,000. And, man, what a massive run. 30% in a week, almost 4,000. Fantastic. Binance Coin and Dogecoin hanging on to number 4, but it had slipped precipitously, quite quickly. And it was down to around 44, 46 cents, somewhere around there. Now it's back up to 58 cents. And I think it's something that Elon Musk just put out this morning. So that's the way to rebound, baby. That's the way to rebound. Cardano, oh man, I think Cardano is going to go up to $3 soon. Everything that's been going on, and especially with their smart contract launch for Alonzo in August or September, somewhere around there. Look, Cardano did all this stuff and has no smart contracts yet. Where do you think it's going to go when the smart contracts hit? Not financial advice, just financial opinion. And everything else is pretty much the same. Let's see, everything down, up and down, up and down. Let's take a look at what could potentially be a good runner if you're a big trader. It's going to click on the projected range, and what do we got? So look at these. Reef, Aave, Redcoin, Celsius. Celsius, I think, is above, what are we at? Above $7. Congratulations. I'm one of those. I think it's going to be good. And then there's a project called Audius. I need to take a look at this. I know this is a good project. I just haven't had the time. Anyhow, that's what's going on in the market. Let's do a deep dive, or just a regular dive, into what happened last night. So last night, Elon Musk hosted SNL, and everybody was abuzz about it. There was some live streams being done, and it was pretty entertaining. Some were actually pretty funny. Some were stupid, but that's just how it goes. But Elon Musk was able to slip in a lot of different references to Dogecoin, especially when he was doing the news right here, the weekend update, financial expert Lloyd Ostertag, and it was pretty good. They just asked him, like, what's Dogecoin? What's Dogecoin? What's Dogecoin? And he kind of explained it. And then one of the comments was Michael Che there on the left. He goes, so you're saying it's not a scam, it's a hustle. You're saying it's a hustle. And he goes, yeah, it's a hustle. And that was it. And then all of a sudden this morning, man, Dogecoin just took a big nosedive. And last night before the actual segment aired for SNL, a couple hours before, I just said, hey, I'm selling my Dogecoin. And I had bought Dogecoin in like 2018, something like that. It was like well under a penny. And I actually I sold it at 8 cents. And I just kind of held on because I'm like, who knows where it could go, right? And I'm like, at 64 cents, I'm like, I don't care if it goes to $1 or $2. I just don't. I'm like, I've gotten way more than I probably should have, and I'm just gonna get out. And then I got out, and I was like, not so bad. And then people are like, you're gonna be sorry, and maybe, you never know. But I just think it's just fundamentally, I just don't see it. Look, there's a lot of projects out there. I just don't see Dogecoin as being like the number one thing out there. Well, you can do whatever you want to do. My goals are not your goals, but at 64 cents, I'm like, that's good enough for me. I'm pretty happy. So we had that. I put out a poll. I just asked the question. I said, hey, if you lost a bunch of money in Dogecoin, because remember, the people that, bought my 64 cents Dogecoin are holding those bags right now. And I feel bad for them. I do. But you never know. Maybe because of what we're going to talk about in a little bit, maybe it's going to go up to $10. I can't believe I even said that. It's not going to $10. That'd be like crazy amount of market cap. There's just no way. I mean, if it gets to $1, so much the better. But can I live with myself if it doesn't go to $1? Yeah, I don't care. But I just ask people, I'm like, because remember, if it goes from 64 cents to $1, that's not even, a 2x, So like, in my opinion, I'm like, where do you want to put your money as far as like crypto? Where do you think the biggest gains are? I asked the question, and with 2,000 votes, which isn't much, I'll be honest with you, you got Cardano, people saying, hey, I'm putting in Cardano. Theta, Voyager, and then right there, staying in Doge. So I will tip my hat to the Doge army. You guys and gals really are strong in your beliefs, and I hope it works out for you. I really do. But for me, I have to bid you adieu, and that is it. I have no more Dogecoin, and that's all. So let me just think in the comment section, and the next piece I want to talk about is how, I got to tell you, I thought it was dead in the water. I'm like, ooh, I thought it was going to drop down to like 20 cents. But because of one article, this is what rebounds everything. So SpaceX accepts Dogecoin as payment to launch Doge 1 mission to the moon next year. What does that mean? Well, Elon Musk SpaceX will launch Doge 1 mission in the first quarter of 2022, just around the bend, let's be honest, just about a year or so away, with the company accepting the meme-inspired cryptocurrency as payment. So I was reading this, I'm like, so what does that mean? You're going to allow people to be on this launch, and and you can pay in Doge? No, that's not what it is. So Doge 1, representing a 40-kilo cube satellite flying as a payload on a Falcon 9 rocket. So they're going to put this satellite in the rocket, launch it all up, and then it's going to go around the moon. Great. Doge 1 will demonstrate the application of crypto beyond Earth orbit and set the foundation for interplanetary commerce. What the heck does that mean? So they're going to put this satellite, it's going to go up to, to orbit the moon, and that's it. And then, of course, maybe in like, I don't know how many years from now, we start to colonize Mars, then maybe Dogecoin will be a part of that. I have no idea. But this is, to me, it seems more like a publicity stunt than anything. Like, this is fundamentally what we're going to do, but it's a heck of a story, and it's trending everywhere, and people are like, see, I told you, you shouldn't have sold your Dogecoin. Sure, I'm okay. So that's what's going on, and that's the story, and it goes on here, but I almost fell asleep. So that's pretty much it. Let me just think in the comments section. Let's move on to another piece. So this is a great article by Lewis Petrick, and it talks about Cardano's Africa project proves that blockchain might improve the world. And this is the things that I get interested in, things that I can help with right now, solve issues, and just, leave the world a better place than when I left it. And it just goes as a recap. And it's interesting about this is what he talks about as far as like, what makes people wealthy, what makes countries wealthy, and why are different countries left out. So we'll start. And he says, what constitute the wealth of the West? And these are the things I don't think about because I am cursed with knowledge. I don't have that third world experience. I just don't. So when people are like, oh, you don't understand because it's really hard. There's no cell service. There's no blockchain. There's no banks. I'm like, I don't understand because that's like commonplace to me. That's just how it is. So you have to really dig down and go, okay, what constitutes the wealth in your country? Is it the material prosperity we have, the high level of education, or is it the infrastructure? And he says all factors are interrelated as far as infrastructure. Infrastructure, which I, again, got to really kind of think about, refers to all non-material institutions, facilities, and systems that are essential to society. And I'm like, these are the things like right here in the next three. I'm like, this is just normal everyday stuff for me. If you want to start a business, you contact the tax office, or you get your TIN number just off the internet. If you want to get a recognized degree, go to university. very simple, right? Just go down, pay them some money, and then you get a paper that says you're awesome. And then to build a house, you legally acquire land. Again, everywhere I've gone, even in Puerto Rico, there's a central, housing office or, central government says you own this piece of land. I just don't think about it. And in other countries, like third world countries, you effectively have no property when you buy the land. For example, there's a lack of the necessary bureaucracy, and often the bureaucracies are corrupt. And I've seen that a lot traveling around through Mexico. That's just how it is. Let's be honest. One thing about Mexico, I'll tell you this, as far as hopefully I don't get bombarded with this one, but I will just say it. Great thing about Mexico is corruption, just out there in the open. That is what it is. If you want this, just pay us. But in America, it's we're not corrupt. And then of course, everything's underneath the table. That's just me, just my opinion. Don't lambast me. It's just how I see it. A whole 2.5 billion people do not have a bank account. They are excluded from the international economy. So on top of everything we just talked about, people don't have bank accounts, very hard to do things. The reason, why don't people have bank accounts? Because banks just go there? No, transactions are complex and they involve high costs. Here's an example. If you try to transfer any kind of money from one bank to the other, you want to do a bank wire, it costs a lot of money, like $20-$30, depending. And then it could take up to 5 days. And my bank's pretty good, it takes 24 to 48 hours. Other banks, it did take 5 days and they suck. So I'm in this day and age, really? I can send an email to a friend of mine in India and it takes 10 seconds and you can't send the money over? But I know it's not just paper. It's just zeros and ones. What's the deal? So here's how blockchain works. And obviously I don't want to go over that right now because this would be for the newbies. But if you are unfamiliar with how blockchain and cryptocurrency digital assets work, there's this thing spinning above my head. Go to danteachescrypto.com. It's 100% free. You can sign up and I'll explain all that stuff and make it really simple for you. So here's what Cardano is going to do. In many countries of the world, people cannot make reliable contracts, right? There's no central office. Everybody's corrupt, really bad. Either the bureaucracy is lacking or it's corrupt, like we talked about. Payments can be made quickly, transparent, and decentrally with blockchain. Blockchain consensus can grant the validity of documents no matter how miserable the government is in their home country is. And then Cardano made a huge move just a couple of weeks ago. They said Ethiopia, a country of over 100 million people, is partnering with the Cardano project to upgrade the education system. 5 million students will receive a blockchain ID that will help document student performing as a first step. This will resolve the issue of fake certifications. And even in first world countries, this still actually happens. People actually forge their documentation, say, yeah, I went to Yale, or I went to some other, higher education. They're like, no, you didn't. This is just a forgery. And it still happens, which is a serious problem in Ethiopia as well as everybody else. And this might give young Ethiopians opportunities they don't have now because their diplomas are not viewed as being reliable in the West. All right, okay, sure. This was by John O'Connor. He is one of the, I think the VP of operations there for IOHK. And then the final thought is that Cardano consumes only a fraction of the energy thanks to not being proof of stake, not proof of work. So I went over that whole thing for a reason, because we've already covered this before. And the reason is because on top of what Cardano is going to do, there's a new project, and we covered this a couple weeks ago along with what we just talked about, where Cardano unveils mobile internet partnership. And I just kind of glanced over it, didn't really think too much of it. I thought it was cool, but that was it. And this is a project called World Mobile. And they're going to provide 5G internet access and give customers a blockchain-based platform so they can verify their identity, on top of the fact that they're going to give them access to, as time goes on, insurance, healthcare, and financial. So on top of getting telecommunications and internet, they're going to get all those things as time moves on. How they're going to do that is the most interesting part. So I actually covered this in a video I just made yesterday and today. And I had that dude right there in the middle, that guy, that's Mickey right there. He's the CEO, and he came on the show and explained exactly how they're going to do that. And I have to tell you right now, telecommunications is a $1 trillion company, and they are solving it for 4 billion people who do not have access to these types of services. And they're going to do it in a very interesting and unique way that I think will really go well, not just because of what they're doing, because listen, In 2017, when I got involved in crypto, everything was like, we're going to solve everything. It's going to be awesome. Well, how are you going to do that? Don't worry about that. Don't worry, we'll do it. And they didn't have anybody like really concrete in how they were doing it. First of all, it was all smoke and white papers, right? In this example, and I'll show it to you in the video, they've already done it. They've already gone to Tanzania. They've already done it with villages. And guess what? All these things that they're doing with this token, first of all, their team behind it, they have over 20 years experience in telecommunications or marketing or blockchain, or actually all those together. And it's solid. All those people that could try to do things in 2017 couldn't do that because they had a crappy team. And this is what makes businesses and ideas work. Ideas are a dime a dozen, but if you don't have people behind it that actually execute, it's worthless. This is why I'm excited about this project. And the bigger thing of why I'm excited is because this World Mobile Token, this is going to be a native asset on the Cardano blockchain. And there is a token sale going on right now. I'll go over all that, but this is going to be massive utility for Cardano. It's $1 trillion industry, and they're solving a problem for 4 billion people. I can't say it any more simple than that. So if you want to check that video out, I will probably do a live premiere so you can ask me questions. Maybe I can even get Mickey on and he can stop by and answer some questions, but it's pretty comprehensive what we talk about, and then we'll go from there. So look, that is it for today. I'm excited about certain projects, obviously, but again, do your own research, and it's just investment opinion, not investment advice. That's all. So, hey, if you found value in that video, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, consider subscribing. I appreciate that. All that great stuff. Really appreciate it. Oh, I almost forgot. This video is going to be over at Dan Clips. I have segmented everything from digital asset news, which is just the basics, the news stories. And I've segmented it from that to Dan Clips, which deals with more advanced topics as far as crypto digital assets and new projects. I don't want to confuse too many people, so I want to keep everything separate. And this will be over at Dan Clips. You can find the link in the description below, and I'll try to link that video at the very end. So that is it. Thanks so much. I'll see you on the next one.